Before we jump into the main subject of today's video, I wanted to shill the recent creepypasta, tale, story, whatever you want to call it, over on the Moisky Reads channel. It's called The Hound. It was written by H.P. Lovecraft. Link below. I also released a new political video over on the Moisky Live channel today. Please consider watching it if you are at all interested in British politics. Link to that as well down below. Now, the subject of today's video is going to be religious education. I think we all have experienced it in some manner or some form in our schools. Back in 2002, when I was sitting my GCSEs, which was actually the first exam I had and I turned up 30 minutes late for, still finished 20 minutes before everyone else and still got an A. It was a secondary subject. It was not important. Which is good because I fell asleep during RE once and Mr. Symes, my teacher, didn't wake me up because he believed I'd fallen asleep listening to him, when in fact I had actually fallen asleep because I was up all night playing SmackDown 2 on the PlayStation 1 with a friend. Oops. RE as a subject is not as important as it once was. Yes, there are still millions of people in the United Kingdom and certainly in other countries around the world, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, that follow and practice a religion. I'm not going to criticise that. I want to focus on the examination itself, because as with all subjects, there are correct answers, but those correct answers are usually on a sheet. In some types of examination you show you're working out. In others, you have to explain and there is a nuance to it. RE is one of those subjects where nuance seems to be appropriate, because with religion there is criticism. Now, I could get into the semantics-based argument of what is right and wrong, correct, not, good, evil, but I can't be bothered. With RE, there are arguments in place that could exist that basically become a pedantic discussion about what is correct or not. I mention all of this because of the article we're now going to cover, where a vegetarian student was disqualified from her GCSE paper for what has been described as obscene racial comments because she was, and I can't believe this, critical of halal meat. Now, in a somewhat twist, when I was in school, Christianity was more prevalent a discussion as far as religions go. Islam was not. That has changed. Islam is a much bigger subject to discuss. The problem is, whereas in the past we have been able to freely discuss, criticize, condemn all other major religions, we now can't with Islam and Judaism. It is getting quite tricky, because if you're critical of Jews, depending on context, it's anti-Semitic. And if you criticize Islam in any way, shape or form, because Islam is the religion of peace, you are Islamophobic. I don't, because I couldn't get access to the exam paper, find out what the question was, because this is relevant as well. I couldn't find out what the question was that would lead the student to write certain remarks against halal meat. But we should quickly discuss halal meat, shouldn't we? Is the idea of halal meat absolutely disgusting? Yes. Why is that? Simply put, halal meat is from the most inhumane possible way of dealing with an animal. Terminating an animal by bleeding them out, meaning they are alive well long and torturously long past the moment they should have been terminated. Why is this? Because you're not allowed the animal's blood. Might I recommend going vegetarian instead then? I will actively and regularly condemn inhumane treatment of animals. I am a hypocrite, yes, I know. But it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means my argument with those that see this doesn't carry as much weight. Still not wrong. There is a humane way of terminating an animal, then there is halal. And it is absolutely abhorrent that people still practice this. As far as I was aware, it breached many animal rights codes, laws in fact. It being given a free pass because of religion, which to me, considering the United Kingdom's current position, which we'll know in 3 years for certain whether I am correct, will be majority atheist. Halal has absolutely no place in that. Abigail Ward, the student who has been disqualified by OCR, one of the examination boards, were the ones that accused her of making the obscene racial comments. Now, interestingly, the decision was overruled by her school, Guildridge House in Eastbourne, insisting that Miss Ward had expressed her distaste for halal butchers and was not making comments about Muslims, which is right. It is not the people following the faith that are the issue. It is, in that context, the practice that, quite frankly, is not something that conforms to modern British society. Therefore, much like any other religion that has had to go through it, Islam in this country has to reform. Halal meat has to be banned. And I have a few patrons who are Muslim that will disagree with this, but after a brief one-way discussion, courtesy of one of my truck streams, link below, where I was indicating you cannot, should not, because of genetic issues, marry a first cousin, I'd be inclined to believe it's possible I might get through with the idea that halal meat is absolutely disgusting, as much as it is marrying a cousin, maybe. Progress. If I can convince one person it's wrong, I consider that a win, and I'm sure I can do that. The school has also conceded that no other comments on the paper could be construed as racist. The exam board have since upheld the appeal and apologised for any upset and distress they may have caused Abigail Ward. It also accepted that the board's original letter that was describing the frequency and severity of the comments was inaccurate, with the mother of Abigail Ward believing that the misunderstanding was more than likely down to an overzealous, over-righteous examiner. Most people that are vegetarians, as far as I'm aware, are strict animal lovers. Not in the sense of banging animals, not that. You know what I mean. They care immensely about animals. So the Islamic practice of obtaining halal meat is, quite frankly, brutal. I once clicked on a video on Twitter because I saw a camel in it. What I didn't see next, well, I didn't see coming, was the guy with the machete in his hand. That gave me nightmares for a week. I should say, and while I have the opportunity, make it quite clear that while I am a hypocrite, I am a marginal hypocrite. Over the years I have managed to reduce the amount of meat I eat, to the point where I only eat it once or twice a week now. The issue for me was satiety. I could never quite get rid of it, or overcome it. That's not because I want to be a vegetarian or anything, it's because I like animals. I see someone walk their dog, I don't think, Chinese food. No. I don't think to myself, ooh, I gotta go to Yulin. No. I think, I wonder if they'll bite me if I give them a little pet. None have yet, but one has tried. In a statement that OCR have issued, they have said that OCR takes all incidences of suspected offensive material against a religious group in exams very seriously and must apply rules which set out for all exam boards in such cases. We accept that initially we did not reach the right conclusion and were too harsh. When you accuse someone of being racist, essentially, yeah. When it comes to the subject of RE, unless she intends to go into RE as some kind of field, I don't care. Religion in the United Kingdom, for the most part, is dying. The only religions that are still existing are pretty much just Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, and quite frankly, the only one that's growing isn't growing very fast. One's dying, and the other one is somewhat in the middle. I'm going to let you guess which one's which because I can't be bothered enough to tell you. I should also say that while I don't care about religion, I only say that from the position of it's not my business, so I have no interest in it. If it starts to dictate modern society, I will certainly step in and say something, like in this case. But otherwise, go and practice your faith, I just don't care. There's a reason I'm wearing this judge outfit. It is entirely because, in my mind, OCR should spend some time in an ISO cube. I might, in the near future, draw ISO cubes and just stick an OCR logo in one, just for you. Maybe we'll make it 2 years. You exam boards have been a burden on my existence for a long time after all. A little revenge would be delicious.